Hello friends, in this video I try to explain the concept of leveling, how we are going to use the dumpy level and how we are going to determine the elevation of a new point. Right, this is the concept alone. You try to correlate this thing in all the problems which we are going to talk in the later videos, right? So are you able to see markings? You consider this a small terrain with a bottom to top. There is a slopey terrain, right? So we need to find the difference between benchmark and top of slope. Consider here is a benchmark and this is the top of the slope. So we need to find the difference between these two, right? How to determine? So this is the terrain which has a anemic way. There is a tree. This is the benchmark point and this is the top of the slope. We need to determine the elevational value of this, then only we can determine the difference between these two. So whether we know the elevation of this, just we can, if you are not having any permanent or GTS benchmark, we can assume with arbitrary benchmark, say the benchmark as a arbitrary benchmark with any value 100 or whatever it is, divide the hill into 3 spots, right? Since it is a slopey terrain, the instrument height we can't go beyond the limit, so up to the leveling staff visibility only we can take the reading. So divide the hill into 3 spots to make easier, otherwise too far to see, or level staff not long enough, right? So let us assume the benchmark as 100 meter, right? We need to determine the top of the slope elevation. The difference between the benchmark and the top, that is to be determined. Now we are placing our dumpy level with the help of tripod in a position such a way that now we are holding the leveling staff over the benchmark. I have explained backside, intermediate side, foresight. What is backside means the reading taken over the known elevation when the instrument is set at the first reading. That is the backside. So here the benchmark was assumed and it is a known elevation, so we are keeping the leveling staff over it and we are trying to note down the leveling staff reading with the help of the dumpy level. The line of sight, it strikes the leveling staff. Say example, the backside, the value is 9 meter, but generally we are having 5 meter staff only. There are a variety of stuff. Here we, for example, we are taking 9 meter was the reading shown with the help of the crosshair. We have noted down. How to note down these values I will explain in later. Now we have to move, since we have to determine the elevation of this point, next we have to move towards this direction. So but from here itself we are not able to see when we hold the leveling staff. So intermediately we are placing a point, move level staff to new post. So when now we have to rotate the dumpy around and the leveling staff was shifted. Now the line of sight towards that leveling staff, we are obtaining a reading over that staff, say 2 meter, right? Whether now we are able to see the leveling staff when we hold over the top of the slope, it is not possible. So now we have to shift the instrument also. So this becomes the back side. We have taken and we are immediately moving, so this becomes the foresight. There is no intermediate side, there is only 2 reading. If one more point is taken, that becomes the intermediate site, right? So now dumpy level is moved to a new spot. Whenever we place the instrument, we have to take the reading over the known. Whether we have to take back to the benchmark reading, no, we are shifted from this position. It is the known point is reference. For the next, if we are shifted, the last reading taken from the previous becomes a reference point, that becomes the backside, right? So now we have taken over the staff reading over the same station. The backside is 6 meter. Next, the dumpy level to be rotated towards the top of the slope, and the leveling staff also to be moved over it, right? Then the line of sight to the staff, we obtain a reading of 1 meter. Here also the end we obtain. So here also two reading only backside and the foresight only. There is no intermediate sight, right? From this, can we get the elevation difference between these 2 points? How we can? We'll see one by one. See the same setup I have shown here, everything. 9 meter, 2 meter, 6 meter, 1 meter. The benchmark value you have assumed as 100 meter, and the difference to be determined. How we can determine? See the benchmark. From here, the reading is 9 meter. So the height of instrument becomes 100 plus 9 becomes 109, right? So that will become the level of dumpy or height of the instrument. Up to this level, now it is 109. Now we have sighted this leveling stuff over this point. The reading is 2 meter. Then the elevation of this point becomes -2. That is 109 minus 2 become 107. That will become the elevation of this point, 107, the known point. Now this point become the known, so that only we have taken the backside over the same station, right? Now this is 107. Again we have shifted the instrument to new position. You have taken the reading over the same point. It is 6 meter. So 107 plus 6 becomes the height of this position instrument, right? So 107 plus 6, that is 113. Now we have taken the reading over this station. It is 1 meter, but we required the elevation of this value. So this 1 meter has to be deducted to determine the elevation. So 113 minus 1 become 112. So this become 113. Here 1 meter. So the ground level and this level, what that to be determined. So the difference in height is, this is 112 and this is 100. The difference is 12 meter. The gap is 12 meter, right? So this is the concept how we can determine the elevation of new point, and the difference between 2 point, everything can be determined. Try to remember this concept. Here the one tabulation is shown. I try to explain the methodology of computation in the next video, right? Thank you.